My name is Sophie Martinez, and this is the story of how one night changed my entire life. This is a story about shame, courage, love, and learning that sometimes the person you think you are is not the person you were meant to be. I grew up in the poorest neighborhood of the city. My mother cleaned rich people's houses, and my father had left us when I was 5 years old. I never knew why he left. My mother never talked about him. We lived in a tiny apartment on the 5th floor of an old building with no elevator. The walls were thin, the pipes made loud noises, and in winter, we were always cold. But my mother was my hero. She worked from morning until night, sometimes cleaning 3 or 4 houses in one day. Her hands were always red and rough from washing floors and scrubbing toilets. She was tired all the time, but she never complained. Every night, no matter how exhausted she was, she would sit with me and help me with my homework. "Education is your way out, Sophie," she would say. "Study hard, and you will have a better life than me." I was a good student. I loved reading and learning. Books were my escape from our difficult life. In books, I could be anyone, go anywhere. I could forget about our broken refrigerator, our leaking ceiling, and the kids at school who made fun of my old, worn-out clothes. School was hard for me, not because of the work, but because of the other students. We lived in a city where the rich and the poor went to the same schools, but we did not mix. The rich kids had everything: expensive clothes, new phones, cars when they turned 16. I had nothing. I wore the same 3 outfits every week, clothes my mother bought from secondhand stores. My shoes had holes in them. I carried my books in an old backpack that was falling apart. The other students were cruel. They called me names: charity case, trash girl, the maid's daughter. They would laugh when I walked by. They would hold their noses and say I smelled bad, even though I washed every day with the cheap soap we could afford. The girls were the worst. They would whisper about me, point at my clothes, and make sure I knew I was not welcome in their groups. I tried to be invisible. I sat in the back of the classroom. I ate lunch alone in the library. I never raised my hand to answer questions, even when I knew the answer, because I did not want attention. I just wanted to survive until graduation. But there was one person who made school bearable. His name was Alex Chen. Alex was different from the other rich kids. His family was incredibly wealthy. His father owned one of the biggest technology companies in the country. But Alex was kind. He never made fun of anyone. He was quiet and serious, always reading or working on his computer. He was the smartest student in our school, maybe the smartest student I had ever met. Alex and I were in the same advanced mathematics class. One day, the teacher assigned us to work together on a project. I was nervous. I thought Alex would be annoyed that he had to work with a poor girl. But he was not. He treated me like an equal. We met at the public library to work on the project, and I discovered that Alex was not just smart, he was also funny and interesting. We talked about math, but also about books, music, and our dreams for the future. After that project ended, Alex and I became friends. It was a secret friendship. At school, we barely acknowledged each other. Alex had his group of rich friends, and I had no one. But outside of school, we would meet at the library or at a coffee shop where Alex would buy us both drinks because I could not afford even a cup of tea. We would talk for hours. Alex told me about the pressure his father put on him to take over the family business. I told him about my dream of becoming a lawyer someday, of using education to escape poverty, like my mother wanted. I think I started falling in love with Alex during those conversations. But I never told him. What was the point? We were from different worlds. He was a billionaire's son who would inherit a fortune. I was a poor girl who wore secondhand clothes and lived in a building with broken elevators. Love between us was impossible. It was a fairy tale, and I did not believe in fairy tales. When we were in our final year of high school, something happened that would change everything. The mayor of our city was hosting a huge charity gala, a fancy party to raise money for education programs for poor children. It was the biggest social event of the year. All the rich and powerful people in the city would be there, business leaders, politicians, celebrities. And all the students from the wealthy families at our school received invitations. Everyone talked about the gala for weeks. The girls discussed what expensive dresses they would wear. The boys talked about arriving in limousines. For them, it was just another party. For me, it was a reminder of everything I was not and could never be. One day, I was sitting alone in the library during lunch when Alex found me. He sat down across from me and said, "Sophie, I want you to come to the gala with me." I thought he was joking. I laughed and said, "Very funny, Alex." But he was serious. "I'm not joking. I want you to be my date. I already asked my parents to add your name to the guest list." I stared at him in shock. "Alex, I can't go to something like that. I don't belong there. I don't have a dress. I don't have money for a ticket. And even if I did, everyone there would know I don't belong." "You belong anywhere I say you belong," Alex said firmly. "You're the smartest, most interesting person I know, Sophie. You deserve to be there more than half the people who got invitations just because their parents are rich. Please come." For me, I wanted to say yes. I wanted it so badly it hurt. But I was terrified. "I'll think about it," I told him. That night, I talked to my mother. I told her about Alex's invitation. I told her I wanted to go, but I was scared. My mother took my hands in her rough, tired ones and said, "Sophie, don't be afraid to take chances. Don't let fear or shame keep you from living your life. If you want to go to this party, you should go. Hold your head high. You are as good as anyone else there." So I said yes. Alex was thrilled. He said he would arrange everything: the dress, the shoes, the transportation. I felt guilty letting him spend money on me, but he insisted. "It's not charity, Sophie. You're doing me a favor by coming with me. All those parties are boring. You'll make it actually interesting." The week before the gala, a dress arrived at my apartment. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, a deep blue evening gown that shimmered like the ocean. There were matching shoes, and even a small purse. My mother cried when she saw me try it on. "You look like a princess," she whispered. But as the day of the gala approached, my anxiety grew. What was I thinking? I did not belong at a billionaire's party. Everyone would know I was a fake, a poor girl pretending to be something she was not. They would laugh at me. They would humiliate me. Maybe I should cancel. Maybe I should tell Alex I was sick. The morning of the gala, I almost called Alex to cancel. But then I remembered my mother's words. "Don't let fear or shame keep you from living your life." I decided to be brave. Just this once, I would be brave. Alex picked me up in a black car with a driver. When he saw me in my dress, his eyes widened. "Sophie, you look incredible," he said. I blushed. Alex looked handsome in his black tuxedo, like a prince from the movies. As we drove to the hotel, where the gala was being held, Alex took my hand. "Don't be nervous," he said. "I'll be with you the whole time. And remember, you have every right to be there." But when we arrived at the hotel, my confidence disappeared. The building was like a palace, all marble and gold and crystal chandeliers. Beautiful people in expensive clothes were walking up the red carpet. Photographers were taking pictures. It was like entering a different world, a world where I definitely did not belong. We walked up to the entrance where a woman with a clipboard was checking names. "Name, please?" she asked Alex. "Before we start, we'd love for you to watch the story carefully and, at the end, rate it from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your opinion helps us understand what kind of stories you enjoy and guides us to create even better content for you." "Alex Chen +1," he said. The woman checked her list. She frowned. She checked again. "I have you listed, Mr. Chen, but I don't see a +1 authorization for you." "That's impossible," Alex said. "I specifically requested that Sophie Martinez be added to the guest list." The woman looked at me for the first time. Her eyes traveled from my face down to my shoes and back up again. Her expression was cold and judgmental. I'm sorry, but there's no Sophie Martinez on the list. She cannot enter. There must be a mistake, Alex insisted. Call your supervisor. But before the woman could respond, a group of girls from our school walked past us into the party. One of them was Brittany Cooper, the richest and meanest girl in our grade. She stopped when she saw me. A cruel smile spread across her face. Oh my God, is that Sophie Martinez? She said loudly. Her friends giggled. What are you doing here? Did you come to clean the bathrooms? Other people turned to look. I felt my face burning with shame. I wanted to disappear, to run away, to die. Shut up, Brittany, Alex said angrily. I'm just surprised, Brittany said innocently. I mean, this is an exclusive event for important people. Not for, well, people like her. She looked at me with fake pity. Honey, you really don't belong here. This is embarrassing for everyone. More people were watching now. Some were whispering. Some were smiling. They were enjoying my humiliation. I felt so small, so worthless. Tears filled my eyes. This was a mistake. A terrible mistake. I should never have come. I'm sorry, miss, but without a confirmed invitation, I cannot let you in, the woman with the clipboard said firmly. This is ridiculous. Alex was furious. I'm going to talk to the event organizers. It's okay, Alex, I interrupted quietly. I could not look at him. I was too ashamed.
She's right.
I don't belong here. I should go home. Sophie, no. But I pulled my hand away from his. I turned and started walking away as fast as I could. I heard Alex calling my name, but I did not stop. Tears were streaming down my face. I just wanted to get away from all those people, all those judgmental eyes, all that whispered laughter. I made it to the street outside the hotel. I was crying so hard I could barely see. I had no money for a taxi. I would have to take the bus home in my fancy dress and ridiculous shoes. I was the biggest fool in the world. What made me think I could go to a party with billionaires? What made me think I belonged in Alex's world? Stop. The voice was so loud and commanding that everyone around me froze. I turned around. A man was walking out of the hotel. Not just any man, but Victor Chen, Alex's father. I recognized him from pictures. He was one of the richest and most powerful men in the country. He was tall and intimidating in his expensive suit, and he was walking directly toward me. I was terrified. I thought he was going to yell at me for embarrassing his son. I thought he was going to tell me to stay away from Alex. I wanted to run, but my legs would not move. Mr. Chen reached me. He looked at me with intense, dark eyes, the same eyes Alex had. Then he turned to the crowd that had gathered, including the woman with the clipboard, Brittany and her friends, and many other people from the party. Who told this young woman she could not enter? Mr. Chen's voice was cold and angry. The woman with the clipboard stepped forward nervously. Sir, her name was not on the official guest list. And who gave you the authority to turn away my guest? Mr. Chen interrupted. This young woman is Sophie Martinez. She is here at my personal invitation. She is one of the guests of honor tonight. Everyone was silent. I was frozen in shock. What was happening? Mr. Chen looked at me. His expression softened. I apologize for this terrible mistake, Miss Martinez. Please come inside. You are exactly where you belong. He offered me his arm. I was too stunned to do anything but take it. Mr. Chen led me back toward the hotel entrance. The crowd parted for us like water. The woman with the clipboard was pale. Brittany's mouth was hanging open in shock. As we walked up the red carpet, Mr. Chen said quietly to me, My son has told me a great deal about you, Sophie. He says you are brilliant, kind, and brave. I wanted to meet the girl who has become so important to my son. I'm sorry my invitation did not reach you properly. That was my assistant's error, and she will be fired. Please don't fire anyone because of me, I said quickly. Mr. Chen smiled slightly. You are kind even to people who have humiliated you. Alex was right about you. We entered the ballroom. It was even more magnificent than I had imagined. Huge crystal chandeliers, golden decorations, hundreds of elegantly dressed people. And they were all staring at me, the poor girl on Victor Chen's arm. Alex was waiting just inside. His face was a mixture of relief and anger.
Sophie.
Are you okay? I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, I said. It's my fault, Mr. Chen said. I told my assistant to add Sophie's name to the list, but clearly she did not. I will handle this. He looked at his son. Take care of your date, Alex. And Sophie, please enjoy the evening. You have earned your place here. Then Victor Chen walked away to talk to the event organizers. Alex took my hand. I'm so sorry, Sophie. I wanted this to be a perfect night for you, and instead. It's okay, I said, though I was still shaking. Let's just try to enjoy the rest of the evening. And surprisingly, I did enjoy it. Once we got past the horrible entrance, the gala was actually fun. The food was incredible, tiny, beautiful dishes that tasted like art. There was music and dancing. Alex introduced me to many people, and to my surprise, most of them were kind and interesting. I talked to a famous author, a scientist, and even a senator. I realized that not all wealthy people were like Brittany. Many were intelligent and curious and treated me with respect. Alex and I danced. I was not a good dancer, but Alex did not care. He held me close and said, "You're the most beautiful person here, Sophie. Inside and out. Don't ever forget that." Later that night, we were standing on a balcony overlooking the city lights. It was quiet and romantic. Alex turned to me and said, "Sophie, there's something I need to tell you. I'm in love with you.
I have been for a long time.
I know we're different, and I know my world can be cruel and intimidating. But I don't care about any of that. I care about you. You make me want to be a better person. You see me for who I really am, not just as Victor Chen's son or a future business heir. You see me." My heart was pounding. Alex, I love you too. I've loved you for so long, but I was afraid to say it. I thought we were too different. We're not different where it matters, Alex said. He took both my hands. After graduation, I'm not taking over my father's company. I'm going to study artificial intelligence at MIT. And I want you to come with me. Apply to schools in Boston. We can build our futures together. I wanted to say yes immediately, but reality crashed back. Alex, I can't afford MIT or any school in Boston. I was planning to go to the state university here because I can get financial aid. My father and I already discussed this, Alex interrupted. He was very impressed with you tonight, with how you handled yourself even after being humiliated. He wants to give you a full scholarship, tuition, room, board, everything. It's not charity, Sophie. It's an investment in talent. My father built his fortune by recognizing brilliant people and helping them succeed. He sees that brilliance in you. I did not know what to say. It was too much, too overwhelming, too good to be true. You don't have to decide tonight, Alex said gently. Just think about it. Think about us, about our future. You deserve every opportunity, Sophie. Please let yourself have them. The rest of the night was like a beautiful dream. When Alex took me home, my mother was waiting up. She saw my face, radiant with happiness, and she smiled. "Good night," she asked. "The best night of my life," I said. I told her everything. The humiliation, Victor Chen's rescue, Alex's confession of love, the scholarship offer, everything. My mother cried happy tears. "You see, Sophie? I told you not to let fear hold you back. Good things happen when you're brave." Cities in Boston. I got accepted to all of them. I chose to go to Boston University to study law, just like I had always dreamed. True to his word, Victor Chen provided a full scholarship. My mother was so proud, she cried for days. 4 years later, I graduated at the top of my class. Alex graduated from MIT with honors. We got engaged the day after our graduations. We had a small, simple wedding, nothing like that fancy gala. Just our families and close friends. My mother was there in a beautiful dress, looking younger and happier than I had seen her in years. Victor Chen gave a speech about how proud he was to welcome me into his family, not because of my achievements, but because I had taught his son what really matters in life. Now, 5 years after that terrible and wonderful night at the gala, I am a lawyer working for a nonprofit organization that helps poor families. Alex runs a technology company focused on making education accessible to underprivileged children. We live in a comfortable apartment, not a mansion, but a real home filled with love and books and dreams. My mother lives with us now. She does not clean houses anymore. She volunteers at a community center, teaching other immigrant women English and helping them find better jobs. She is finally resting after all those years of hard work. I often think about that night, the night I was told I did not belong. Those people were wrong. I did belong there. Not because of the dress I wore or because Victor Chen said I could enter. I belonged there because I had worked hard, because I was intelligent and brave, because I had dreams and refused to let poverty or shame define me. The truth is, I belonged everywhere I had the courage to go. And that night taught me the most important lesson of my life. Your worth is not determined by your bank account, your address, or your clothing. Your worth comes from who you are inside, your character, your dreams, your kindness, your courage. Yes, I was just a poor girl, but I was also smart, brave, and determined. And when someone tried to tell me I did not belong, the most powerful man in the room, and eventually the most important man in my life, stood up and said, "She's my guest. She belongs here." But more importantly, I learned to stand up for myself and say, I belong here. I belong anywhere I choose to be. That is my story. From shame and humiliation to love and success. From being erased from a guest list to writing my own destiny. From feeling like I belonged nowhere to finally understanding that I belonged everywhere. And to anyone out there who has ever been told they don't belong, who has ever felt too poor, too different, too anything, please remember this: you belong. Your dreams are valid. Your voice matters. Don't let anyone erase you from your own life story.
Be brave.
Take chances. Walk through doors even when people try to close them. And remember, you are exactly where you belong. Now that you've seen the whole story, we would really appreciate it if you rate it from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your thoughts help us improve and make sure we bring you the kind of stories you truly enjoy.